Hey, Dr. Tacla, this is Anthony Sanchez. I'm here with my Kinesiology 149 Cardio-Kickboxing lesson plan. I'm here at my first station, which is the agility section. So agility is the ability to change direction quickly and efficiently. It's a skill-related fitness component, and it contributes to health-related fitness components such as cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular endurance, and a little bit of muscular strength. So its applications in kickboxing are numerous, and on offense, it allows you to get into position to set up offensive attacks. On defense, it allows you to get out of the way from getting hit, and it also allows you to set up counterattacks. So let's get into it. So task number one is going to be 2 feet in each square. When you're doing this, make sure and pump your arms almost like pistons, and make sure and have quick feet. So, an easier variation would be 1 foot in each box. A harder variation would be 2 boxes forward and 1 box back. I'll come back on this one. So now task number 2 is going to be sideways. You can down the ladder sideways, both feet in. What you're going to want to do again is you're going to want to make sure and have piston arms. You're going to want to have quick feet. So if you need an easier variation, you can just find a line and do lateral steps over. Again, pump your arms, quick feet. If you want a harder variation, you can go 2 down, 1 back. So number 3 is going to be a hop in and out. Now it's not really a hop, it's more of a it's not a hop, it's more of a lift your legs sort of thing. So try to keep your hips and your head traveling in a level plane. If you need an easier variation, just step off to the side and we can do stationary. If you want a harder variation, add an extra hop back in the box before you progress to the next one. And then for an active recovery on our walk back, we're going to do walking, rotating crunches all the way back. This next one are lateral step-ins. So we're going to stand off to the side, and we're going to step in forward with both feet, pumping our arms, keeping quick feet. So for an easier variation, what we can do is just find a line here and just step over and back. Make sure to pump our arms still. A harder variation. We can do go all the way through. So basically, harder variation, go through and basically you're zigzagging through. So this next one is called the Icky Shuffle. Go down and back. Make sure when you're doing this, try to keep your shoulders over your hips and have quick feet. For an easier variation, put 2 feet in each box before transitioning across. So for a harder variation, try the Icky Shuffle backwards. So we just got done with number 5, the Icky Shuffle. Now we're going to do number 6, rotating hip scissors. When we're doing this, really remember to try to get hip rotation. Make sure your head is staying straight the whole time, and you're lifting your legs, right? So if you want an easier variation, just find what we can do is just either take the rotation out. You can take the rotation out and just do scissors. Or we can do stationary hip rotation, or we can do stationary scissors. For a harder variation, we can wear ankle weights, and we're gonna do some active recovery walk backs also. we're just going to do your rotating crunches. So now task number 7 is 2 hops forward and 1 hop back. Again, for the hops, it's more of a lift your leg. Try to keep your head and your hips traveling in a level plane the entire time. So 2 hops forward. An easier variation, find a line and go over and back. A harder variation would be 3 forward and 2 back. Over here with the last agility task, this is single legs in and out. So what I want you to do is make sure and pump your arms and have quick feet again. When you do these, if you need an easier variation, just slow down. It takes coordination, and I really want you guys to get this. So, if you want a harder variation, add an extra toe tap back in the box before you progress to the next one. So I'm here at station 2. This is balance and muscle strength and muscle endurance oriented. So balance is a skill related fitness component, and muscle endurance and muscle strength are health related fitness components. And all 3 of them will contribute to how efficiently your body moves through space, and especially when you're in the later round or the later minutes of either a cardio kickboxing workout or a kickboxing match. So the first task we're going to do at the balance and strength is the straight leg deadlift. So what I want you to do is just grab some weights, and I want you to make sure and keep a straight back and really engage all your muscles. So squeeze your core here. So what we're going to do is keep that leg straight. And we're going to go down and then come back. If you need an easier variation, you can either use lighter weights or ditch the weights and just do body weight stuff. Or you can find a firmer surface. I'm already on concrete, so it's pretty firm. Here, if you want a harder variation, you can increase the weights. I have some 8-pound weights here. Again, make sure and keep your back straight and engage your core. Another variation, a harder variation, would be find a softer surface. So I have a towel here. That would be an appropriate exercise also. Okay, so this next one is a partner drill. It's going to be a leg kick and stick and a check and hold. So my assistant Brett is going to come in, and she's going to be the defender here. So she's doing the check and hold while I'm doing the kick and stick. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold that position for 3 seconds. So that's what I'm kicking. And we hold, our hands are up. 1, 2, 3, and we stop. An easier variation would be hold that for 3 seconds, 2 seconds. A harder variation would be to hold that for 10 seconds. So this is the second exercise at the station 2. We're going to do duck walks. So what I want you to do is get in your low squat position. Make sure and move your elbows with the same knee. So when your left foot drives forward, your left arm goes forward also. And try to make sure your head travels in a level plane also, so you're not bouncing up and down. So if you want an easier variation, just go as low as you can, or as low as you see comfortable. A harder variation, go even lower and raise your hands above your heads. So after the duck walks, we're going to do some frog leaps. So from this, basically we would go 10 yards. You're going to try to leap as few times as you can in order to get 10 yards and then come back. So when you do this, really make sure and use your arms and drive with your arms and try to get momentum, and make sure and explode out of the squat position with your legs. Like so, you do that for 10 yards. An easier variation would be just to do squat jumps. So still driving through with your arms and exploding from the squat position. A harder variation would be to wear ankle weights or do the frog leaps backwards. So after frog leaps, we're going to do bear crawls. Make sure with bear crawls, you want to make sure and keep it level back, and also have strong shoulders. Keep your shoulders supported. When we're going to go down and then coming back, we're going to go backwards bear crawls. So, like that. If you need an easier variation, just assume the bear crawl pose and then hold that for 10 seconds and then rest for 5. So make sure to keep it straight back and strong shoulders for 10 seconds. Okay, rest, and then back up, and so on. If you want a harder variation, they call it a cat crawl. Basically, it would be like you're stalking. So you can get lower, still try to keep the level back. And that's the cat crawl. So after the bear crawl, you're going to have the partner-driven hop. So a partner's going to come back in. This is more for the striker only to work on their balance. So while you're keeping your hands up in a good fight stance, basically acting like I'm kicking, and then the driver is just going to drive me around this little area. So an easier variation would be the driver indicates where they would be going in relation to them. So I'm going forward, such, I'm going backwards. A harder variation would be the striker just completely closes their eyes, and now they're getting driven around, and that's it. So after the partner-driven hop, you're going to want to stay in your partners, and we're going to do a dizzy mitt drill. So the striker is just going to do 5 spins at whatever speed they would like. And then they are just going to tag their opponent's hands that are just kind of rotating. So just make sure to keep your hands up and just tag your opponent's hands, not trying to hurt anybody. An easy variation would be the striker could just spin slower or do fewer turns. Harder variation could be spin faster or more spins. Also, the opponent can move freely as they want without space. So yeah, for the harder variation. And that's it. Thank you. So now we have a footwork activity. What we're going to do is we're just going to be in a little group. So basically, proper footwork is in a fight stance, whichever direction you're trying to go into, that's the foot that's closest to that direction is going to initiate it. So if I, for example, if I want to go forward, my front foot, that's going to be the one that initiates it. Step forward. If I want to go backwards, step with my back foot. If I want to go to my left, and I lead with my left foot. If I want to go to my right, lead with my right foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some directional footwork, just teacher-led exercise. So everybody want to just get in a basic fight stance. Make sure your hands are up, and I really want you guys to feel the rhythm, just get like a little bob going. And then when we're about to move, I want you to remember closest to, so that's your foot, whichever direction. So forward, back, back, right, left, back, back, right, forward, forward, forward. Easier variation would be just do every other teacher's command. So forward, back, right, forward, left, back, those sort of things. A harder variation would just be do 2 steps for every one of the teacher's command. So forward, back, forward, left, and so on. Okay, so for this last one, it's going to be a partner shadow drill. So your partner is literally just going to be your shadow. So Brett, come on in, please. Make sure and get in a good fight stance, bent knees and whatnot. Make sure your hands are up, and make sure and lead with the foot that's closest to. So I'm going to take a step every 3 seconds, and she's just going to be my shadow. 3, 3, 3, 3, and that's it for the most part. For an easier variation, I would indicate which direction I was going to go in. For a harder variation, I would just move as freely as I wanted and not take 3 seconds in between each step.